Hello everyone. In my last blog post, I kicked off a series on the role of a medical malpractice defense lawyer and the relationship that you as a physician defendant might develop with your med mal defense lawyer. Today I want to continue that series by talking a little bit about 3 roles that your lawyer might play for you. For those who don't know me, I'm Dr. Stacia Dearman. I'm a physician speaker, coach, consultant, and the founder and owner of Thrive, where I provide support to physicians confronted with unexpected patient outcomes and medical malpractice litigation. So before we dive into the 3 roles your med mal defense lawyer might play for you, I want to disclose that when I was in the middle of my own litigation, I learned something very interesting and useful about myself. And it was that in the midst of this unfamiliar situation where the chips were down for me, my default was to try to do what I do at work when the chips are down for my patient. Namely, I tried to step up and lead. But the truth is that I was in unfamiliar surroundings, confronted with unfamiliar circumstances, and I was not the person best equipped to lead. I needed to follow. And what I learned about myself was that I wasn't a very good follower in that circumstance, and I had to make an active effort to follow my med mal defense lawyer's lead. So I want to talk with you today about 3 ways in which your med mal defense lawyer can lead, and by leading, help you, and you help yourself by allowing them to provide that leadership. Now, I want to be very clear that I'm not suggesting you abdicate participation. Your full participation will be to your benefit. But I want you to look to them for certain kinds of leadership and see if it doesn't help alleviate some of your stress and anxiety, and in the long run, maybe provide you with a better, high-integrity outcome than you otherwise might have had. So the first way in which they might lead is as your guide. As I just said, it's very unfamiliar territory for most physicians. I found it to be extremely stressful, extremely foreign, really awful. So the guide who comes to my mind is Virgil in Dante's Inferno. For those of you who don't know who Virgil in Dante's Inferno is, I will tell you that Virgil is the classical poet Virgil. He leads Dante into the 7 circles of hell, each one hotter and more miserable than the last, shows him around, teaches him what he needs to know, and importantly, leads him right back out again. And that is actually something that I found my med mal defense lawyer was able to do for me. Lead me through the situation at each stage, describe what we were seeing, describe what was happening, keep me company, not leave me alone there, and importantly, get me back out. Get me back out of the situation. So, number 1, your lawyer can be your guide. Number 2, your lawyer can be your coach. And I'm thinking of like a great high school basketball, volleyball, football, soccer coach, maybe an executive coach, maybe even a voice coach. Anyone who takes that kind of leadership that involves some teaching, some cheering on, some supporting, and some helpful correcting. That is a role that a good medical malpractice defense lawyer knows how to play. When might they need to play that role? Well, certainly it comes to my mind in any situation in which your testimony may be required. Words really matter in legal processes more than almost in any other situation. Word selection matters. So allow your attorney to work long and hard with you to prepare for situations like deposition, for example. Allow them to direct you as to how they want you to prepare, and please follow their instructions as to how they don't want you to prepare. And then let them work with you on crafting the language that allows you to tell your story truthfully, with very high integrity, but in the way that will be the least inflammatory for the legal process. The plaintiff's attorney is looking for things to become increasingly inflamed. What you want is to not offer them fuel for their fire. Your attorney can coach you and prepare you in the best possible way to do that. The third role that your med-mal defense attorney can play for you is as teammate and maybe even, I would say, team captain. So I want you to imagine yourself as a freshman athlete on a high school or a college team where you've got more advanced players, more experienced players, and you've got one teammate in particular who's a senior and is the team's captain. That is the role your med-mal defense attorney can fill. Teammate, team captain. So you may know the rules of the game. You may even know what your role is, out on the field. You're a forward on the soccer field. You know what a forward has to do. But that senior teammate, that captain, is going to have the whole team in mind, the whole situation in mind. In fact, they've probably confronted the particular adversaries that your team has to confront before, and they will know things about those other teams' tendencies, their strengths, their weaknesses, the ways their coaches operate, and they will help bring your team to the best possible outcome if you work together. Now, please notice, your team captain cannot win the game without the full and complete participation and effort of every teammate, including the people in his or her office, including expert witnesses, and above all, including you. So go in prepared to bring them everything you've got, everything you know about your case, everything you know about the medicine that applies to your case. Bring them that information, bring them your fears, your anxieties, and your concerns, your strengths as well as your weaknesses, and let them guide you to the best possible outcome for your case. All right, so to summarize, you've got a guide going to lead you into the circles of hell and back out. You've got a coach who's going to help you to develop your best strategy. You've got a teammate and captain who's going to accompany you all the way and help you to confront whatever situation is in front of you. Please reach out to me in the comments or by email at my website, www.thrivephysician.com. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your experiences with your attorney or your fears regarding a relationship with an attorney. I look forward to hearing from you.